Hey guys, today I'm going to be responding to this comment. The commenter stated, a universe can only be observed if it can support the existence of observers. Of course it's tuned for us, as we couldn't exist otherwise. In other words, we couldn't observe it and title it as being finely tuned if we didn't exist, and we wouldn't exist unless it was finely tuned. Does that explain why it's finely tuned? No. You see, if these conditions and qualities weren't just right, if they weren't just the way they are, we wouldn't exist. Yeah, and then we couldn't call it finely tuned. But that does not explain why they are the way they are. Think of it this way. Imagine our little buddy Freddy is playing ball out in the street, just like his parents say he's not supposed to. And all of a sudden, this huge truck comes blazing down the street, obviously doesn't see him, it's not going to stop. Now, our buddy has this problem that he gets petrified when he's scared. He cannot move. And in this case, he cannot move. He's scared. All he can do is close his eyes and hope for the best. He waits. Nothing. Nothing happens. He runs back inside and tells his parents the whole story. I was playing ball out on the street, just like you said I shouldn't have. This truck was rushing, and it was going to hit me. His parents say, "What happened? How are you alive? How are you still here?" And he says, "Of course I'm still here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to tell you the story." Now, I'm sure they're overjoyed that he's fine. But the fact that he's there and can tell the story does not explain why, how he's there and can tell the story. There still needs to be an explanation. In the same way with the universe, we just have one truck rush and hit us. We had over 122 quote-unquote trucks, these finely tuned constants that had to be just right, that we see should have hit us. They could easily be very different, and we wouldn't be here. But they didn't. Now this needs explaining. Of course, we couldn't be here to observe it and think about it if they weren't just the way they are. But that does not explain why they are just the way they are. They still need explanation, because this is incredible. It should not be the way it is. We overcame overwhelming odds to be just like this. In the story of Freddy, obviously the reasonable assumption would be that the driver looked up from whatever he was distracted with, saw Freddy, and with all his might slammed on the brakes to stop and not hit Freddy. His goal was to keep Freddy alive. There was a mind behind the wheel, and that was evident. Is it the same with the universe? Does this reveal a mind behind the wheel that wants to uphold our life, make our life possible? That would make sense. So yes, to be able to observe it and think about it, the fine-tuning has to be just the way it is. But that doesn't explain why it is just the way it is.